Recorded live with little or no editing, it's Defense Up. I'm Run 7. How you doing? Today we're going over SassyMama's alt account. That's right, if you have an alternate account that you want me to go over, I'm happy to do that too. I just dig going over all these defenses and seeing what other people are doing. It actually is a lot of fun for me. So if you want yours featured on Defense Up, links in the description below. You can find me at Discord, just at me or DM me or whatever, and we'll talk about it, and I'll get you here featured on the show. So we grade on 5 different criteria here. It's who you're using, their placement, their power levels, their ISOs, and what kind of mood I'm in. And man, I'm having a great day. We record usually 2 of these in a day, and then I stagger them out on their release. And today I interviewed T-Dub, and I had so much fun doing those interviews. I can't wait to do some more of those. Let's get to it though. This is Defense Up, not interview time. So I lost my mouse. That's the kind of pro I am. There we go. Team number 1 is an aim team. I think this is kind of a filler team. I actually use aim on offense once in a while. It's like my 14th pick, but I do use them sometimes because they do have some value, usually going up against like Sinister 6 teams. This is obviously a filler. You're not going to invest in it. You don't want to invest in it until MODOK or somebody comes out. There's no reason to put anything into this team. So take my suggestions with a grain of salt here. I don't actually want you to do anything with this team, but just let them fill this this spot. Excuse me. Let's see. You have healer, striker, healer, striker, healer. You have 2 strikers and nobody putting out vulnerables. I think you should probably switch. You should probably switch some tunes here, probably. Let's see. Maybe change out. Yeah, maybe change out Monstrosity with Assaulter, and then you could use Assaulter as a skirmisher to get out some vulnerables. That might be a better pick. Because Assaulter has fantastic damage stats, if you didn't know. Just remember, guys, just because they got a high damage stat doesn't make them a great tune. It's all about the multiplier and how their kit, uses it. Okay, there's what to do. Okay, so put your taunting tank there, your aim security. She needs to actually be adjacent to 2 people because she has healing going to adjacent characters. So make her adjacent. I think you should basically move Scientist Supreme and Graviton. Is that right, Graviton? Yeah, I'm saying that right. It's been a while since I talked about him. Move those to the outside, and then keep your minions to the inside because all of your minions have like adjacent stuff in their kit. So just have those in the middle. And then yeah. Otherwise, yeah, it's fine. I mean, if you wanted, you could make them war ready or something. But really, I mean, this power level. This is nothing. This is just a little bit better than shield guards, So I don't even really know how to grade this because I don't want you to invest anymore. I do think you should change a tune and maybe contemplate changing. No, don't even change those ISOs. Yeah, just swap out Monstrosity for Assaulter, change their placement. So I'm just gonna give you a C for this team. You're not wasting too much, but man, it's so boring. It's such a boring little team here. Okay, and then we got Brotherhood on defense. I kind of like Brotherhood on offense, but I'm honestly at this power level, you're not going to be killing anything on offense with them. So throw them on defense. They're at least a synergized team. It's going to cause your opponent to have to come into it with something, a 250, 300 level punch down, or maybe, I don't know. At these low levels, the synergies get kind of wonky, right? Like you don't know if that Magneto blind is going to be that effective. You don't know if taunts or if Toad is going to steal or clear that many positive effects. You don't really know how challenging they are because you don't have T4s in this team. You don't have them built up. And so you kind of usually just come in with like a bigger junk team and punch down into it. And that's fine. That's what happens. So Toad does need to be a skirmisher. Blob needs to be a skirmisher. I like Juggernaut as a raider. I like Magneto as either a striker or a raider, and I like Pyro as a striker. I think that's the only one you really nailed was him. So you got a lot of messed up ISOs. I don't like Juggernaut next to Magneto. In fact, how should we do this? I think just swap places with Juggernaut and Toad is going to be the simplest thing. At the higher end, you start contemplating putting Blob next to Magneto or next to Pyro for those deflects to help keep them alive. against like AoEs and stuff like that. But I don't think you're going to be coming against some huge team that's doing any kind of AoEs or anything like that. So I think just keep your tanks away from the important damage dealer type characters and control characters by swapping places with Toad and Juggernaut. Not a lot you're doing right here. The placement was wonky, the ISOs are way off, and of course none of them are war ready. This is a team you could invest in, but they are way over the hill, so I don't recommend building them up. It's just a filler team for you, and so that's good. You should keep them here, just give them some tweaks. I'm just gonna go with another C for this team, nothing exciting. Team number 3 is Fantastic Four. Let's see, you have Fortifier, Healer, Skirmisher. Okay, the 2 Skirmishers should probably be Strikers. And then Invisible Woman and Mr. Fantastic should be Skirmishers. And then you can leave She-Hulk as a healer, but you're gonna have to make her bigger. She scales really well. The bigger the She-Hulk, the tougher this team gets. So you're gonna have to put some gear and stuff in her. It looks like maybe you've got some pretty good investment in her abilities, but not her gear. So put the gear on her, you know, take her up to at least 12. I think you should take the whole team up to gear tier 12 at least. Fix those ISOs. Your placement is right. That's fine. You got the squishier members to the outside with her in the middle. I like that. So yeah, change the ISOs. Alternatively, you could run She-Hulk as a skirmisher, but save the ISOs. Keep her as a healer. That's fine. Or not skirmisher. Yeah, skirmisher. I like her as a skirmisher. So that she's putting out a few more vulnerables on the field. She does get sped up a little bit if somebody goes into this with a team that throws out negative effects. But yeah, I don't like what you're doing with the ISOs. I think those ISOs are a big mess. For me, this is kind of a waste because this is actually a decent team that you could put some investment into, but you've already started going the wrong direction on almost every ISO. So yeah, for me, this is a D. Team number 4 is the Wave 1 Avengers with Iron Man in place of Black Widow. That's fine. You're probably running Skilletary on offense, and I think that's a good idea. Healer, Raider, Striker. I mean, what else are you going to do with Iron Man but make him a Striker? You could make him a Raider, I guess. Put some more vulnerables on the field. Not going to matter too much. But yeah, this is... you're on the right path with this. If Iron Man is the way you want to go... There's other things, you know, in yesterday's video that we just recorded. You could see we did Coulson and Maria Hill on the Wave 1, which was an interesting spin on it. But Iron Man is fine. I just hate investing in Iron Man. I do think he's probably the next tune that's going to get a rework just because we just got Ravagers reworked, you know? And Iron Man is every bit as old as they are. He's a legendary character, and he's at the bottom of everybody's roster because he's terrible. So it's tough to put an investment in him. This is a decent defense. It's nothing fancy. It's just one of those things that everybody kind of runs. Some people put their own spin on it. Some people run it as the traditional Wave 1. It's kind of effective, but not really because there's lots of counters. It's just over the hill twice now. But what you're doing is fine. Your placement is fine. I have trouble telling you to really put more of an investment in this team other than make them war ready. And contemplate whether or not you want Iron Man as a Raider instead of a Striker, but I think he's fine as a Striker, so just make the team war ready. For me, this is a B. Alright, team number 5. We have the Guardians of the Galaxy plus Vision. Vision is giving defense up to Star-Lord and Rocket Raccoon on spawn, and then you're running him as a Raider to put out more vulnerables. Fortifier on Drax. I kind of like Drax to the outside instead of in the middle like that. Like they got to hit him first and you don't want the splash damage going anywhere else. So I think it should go Drax, Groot, and then Vision. This team is trash. Don't invest in them. They're almost as old as Iron Man was, and I don't think they're worth putting anything into. I remember when Vision was a top 10 character, and now he's a bottom 10 character. Groot does have healing in his kit, but I don't like him as a healer. I think Groot should be a skirmisher. Star-Lord and Rocket should probably be strikers. They call Groot half the time, and you can get that striker skirmisher combo. You can get it a lot more if you're running just that 3-piece with 2 more characters that are not Guardians. So that's a thing you could do. But sometimes they're going to be calling Drax, and that'll disrupt it. So I mean, hey, you could make Drax a skirmisher too, and then make them strikers. But probably leave Drax as a fortifier. Just, I don't know. You're just trying to avoid squishy tunes getting blown up here, but they're going to die no matter what. This team is just so old. Not much. The Guardians of the Galaxy cannot stand up to much these days. I don't know. Skirmisher as a secondary pick for Star-Lord isn't even that great. I think Raider is the secondary pick, and then Raider is the secondary pick for Rocket Raccoon. So I really don't like what you did with the ISOs here. Let's change the placement. Let's change the ISOs. Let's not spend too much resources on this team, though, because they are trash. This is a filler team for your alt account, which you're probably not throwing too much into, right? Yeah, I'm gonna give you a D+ for this. I'm not excited about what you've done here. Team number 6 is your Sinister 6 leftovers. No Doc Ocking here. This is a space filler again. Man, do we have any teams worth getting excited over? At least you're throwing in the trash teams and leaving Doc Ock for hopefully a hybrid defense or a hybrid offense. Striker is good for Mysterio. Skirmisher I like on Green Goblin. Raider I like on Vulture. I like Skirmisher there on Swarm and Electro. Is that right? Electro? Yeah, Shocker's the other one. Electro. I get those two mixed up. Raider, that's fine. You could alternatively go Skirmisher on Electro too, but I like her as a Raider. She does lots of AoE chain attack stuff, so that's a good fit. You have one striker who's going to be getting a lot of double taps, and he clears positive effects on his basics, so that's good. I like everything you're doing with this team. You're not wasting anything. It is a filler team, but you're doing proper things. If they were war ready, I'd give you an A for this team. As is, I'm going to give you a B+ because you got a ways to go getting them war ready on those ISOs. Team number 7... Pymtek, and instead of Ghost, which is the best member of this team, you put in Shuri, who's also a tech character, so maybe there's some tech synergy, but honestly, you might think about taking out either Wasp or Ant-Man and putting in Vision in here so he gives that on-spawn defense boost to the team, or replacing Shuri with Vision because you're going to get basically the same effect. This team is just dodgy. It's kind of a pain in the butt. Shuri's going to be keeping them topped off on health, but honestly, if you land a hit, they're going to die, right? Because you're going to probably just kind of punch down into this with a junk team or something. Maybe blind them or something. I don't know. It's nothing to get excited about. You do have the proper ISOs on everybody, but I would rather see Ghost in here. Ghost gives them that synergy, and then a built-up Ghost is actually kind of a threat. Makes the team a lot better. I don't know what Shuri's doing here other than the on-spawn defense up. And like I said, she's not going to be healing anybody because they're so squishy compared to her that they're probably just going to die if they get hit. So throw Ghost back in on this team if this is what you want to do. For me, this is kind of a waste of Shuri. We'll see what you did with Ghost and see if that was important, if what you're using with Ghost is important enough to take her off of this team. So for right now, I think it's a C. Okay, so we have what almost looks like a Hero Brawlers, except for some reason you traded out Miss Marvel with Ultimus. I don't know what Ultimus is doing for this team. I don't see where the value is other than making the number bigger. I think you should swap him out, put Miss Marvel in. I think Miss Marvel is going to have some short-term viability with the Web Warrior team. Saving people from developing all of the characters right out of the gate. You could just throw Miss Marvel in there and use Web Warriors instead. However, let's see what you're doing here. Since it's not a Hero Brawler team, it's just using a bunch of Hero Brawlers. You've got Raider for Spider-Man. Okay. Striker for Chavez. Okay. Skirmisher for Psylocke. Yeah, that works. Raider for Black Panther. Okay. And then you got Striker on Ultimus. He's the one doing the damage on this team because he's the one that's got the power. He's almost twice as powerful as everybody else. Yeah, I think this is just some junk you threw in here, and without Miss Marvel tying them all together, it doesn't have any synergy. You've got some decent ISOs on these characters, but of course they're ISO level 1. The tunes don't have any investment. Really, this is just like go in and beat Ultimus up, right? The others are probably going to die from splash damage as you attack him. I can't get excited about this. I don't see any real good synergy. Yeah, there's nothing going on here. Heck, you could throw in Miles Morales and you'd have better synergy. Throw in Squirrel Girl in here, you'd have some more synergy. It's just nothing. It's nothing. It doesn't excite me at all. So for me, this is just kind of a D. Okay, we have Emmarauders with Namor opening up with his ult, which is all he's good for, and then he can pretty much die. He'll probably have the time to do that. I believe that's going to help against like an X Factor team who has lots of positive effects. He'll help clear them. And then you got Mystique in there stealing some of those positive effects, and then you have a really weak Strife, which means a Shadowlands is going to come in here and destroy this team, or anybody that can open up hard on a single target might be able to kill Strife, and then you can work this team apart. Yeah, you really need to build up your Strife. I like to tell people, have your Strife at a power level that's between Sinister and Emma is a good measurement of where he should be. So for this team, 138, 139, somewhere in there is going to be a good power level. I like that you have him a Fortifier, make him war ready. Healer, Striker on Namor. A lot of people run him as a Raider so that he gets that extra crit stuff, because his ultimate's supposed to crit when it opens. And people were very frustrated with that because when you run him on offense, a lot of times you're going into a boosted room and everybody's got block, and so it doesn't crit even if he's a Raider. It was very frustrating. So I think you should make him a Raider on this defensive team and help bring up that crit damage that he opens with. It's not a terrible idea throwing him in here rather than Sabretooth, because you're probably using Sabretooth on a Weapon X team. It's okay. I think this team's really going to fall apart because of how weak your Strife is. That's a big no-no for me, and it makes this team kind of a waste no matter what you do because it's going to be easy to go through. For me, this is like a C-. You really got to build up the power of your Strife, and at this point in the game, it's hard for me to recommend doing that because there isn't a lot of value for Strife anywhere else in the game. We were just talking on stream earlier about bringing him into DD4, DD3, and it's just the value isn't there anymore. There's better tunes to be bringing into Global because you're not bringing in Sinister. You might bring in Emma, but not Sinister, and then therefore Strife isn't going to be as valuable, though he is cheap. And the other thing is, this team is, especially at the high ends, no one's running this team on defense anymore. It's got too many counters, too many things to destroy it. It's too hard to create some sort of synergistic counter to the normal counters. Like, it's not worth it. It's better to put Emma with Eternals and run them on offense, or run Sinister on some sort of a hybrid defense with other tanks and a heavy damage dealer, like maybe an overdeveloped Captain Marvel or something like that. Just break this team up, use them for offense, use them for hybrid defenses, or go nuts on Strife, which I don't think is the best idea for right now. Okay, team number 10 is the Heroes for Hire. H for H in the back slot. You went Healer on Iron Fist, which I kind of like him as a skirmisher. I don't know if it's worth the investment to change it. Healer is a pretty good pick, but he's like Diet or in Revive, or he has heal block, so you don't get a lot of value out of the heals that he's doing. And then you have Healer on Luke Cage. I like him better as a Fortifier because of the same reason. Die and Revive. He's really slow, so he doesn't throw out a lot of those rejuves or anything. Although he does have a decent health bar. Otherwise, Raider, Skirmisher, and Striker on the 3-piece in the center there, that's pretty good. I think you should probably change places. I think the proper placement that most people like, and this is argued a lot too, so it's kind of your choice here, but most often I think it's going to be your Shang-Chi followed by Misty Knight, followed by Calling Wing, then Iron Fist, and then Luke Cage is probably your best placement. But again, we're kind of splitting hairs here. These super huge teams that come in and destroy it, who cares? Who cares about placement? Just keep Luke Cage off to the side and whatever. You're gonna be fine. Okay, for this team, I'm gonna go ahead and give you I'm gonna give you a B+ for this team. You're doing pretty good. There's nothing wrong with it. You got it over the power level that requires it to be a Weapon X or an Infinity Watch team to counter it. So you're doing good. Who your placement and your ISOs at that point don't really matter. You're just making sure they waste that big team. Okay, so this has been Sassy Mama's Defense Up video. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button for more videos. I try to put out at least 5 videos a week. Some of those just include my stream recycle, which is a lot of fun. And if you want to see the stream live, you can find me on Twitch. Those links are in the description. Also, Thursdays and Tuesdays in the morning on the West Coast. Remember, guys, don't just have a good game. Be good to yourselves and others too, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.